I am going to tell you about my recent motorcycle trip, my first motorcycle trip. It was special, it was big, it was long, and it was successful. Let me sum up the situation. I'm American, I live in Lyon, France, and my wife is Ukrainian, and at the moment she's in Kyiv. We're married, but we're still playing the cat and mouse game with the government to get a visa, which takes about 18 months, a year and a half. Anyway, it is the second week of May, 2020, and it's the coronavirus pandemic in Europe. And unfortunately, we just happened to be separated at the time all of the travel restrictions came into place. This whole thing started as a joke, a bluff. Said, okay, if really it is the end of the world, I'll come get you. If there's no flights, I'll come with my motorcycle. As April continued, May continued, it seemed like it was actually the only way. Not sure when internal flights in Europe are going to start. Definitely don't know when the border with Ukraine is going to be open to foreigners and airplanes. So there were a number of obstacles for this trip, obviously. It was my first long ride. I've only ridden about 125 kilometers before, and this was 2,600 kilometers, and didn't know how long it was going to take, 5 or 6 days. Because I am riding a 125 cubic centimeter motorcycle. So not the ideal pick for a long motorcycle trip. Borders were closed. I had to negotiate border crossings and wasn't sure if hotels were going to be open, wasn't sure if restaurants were going to be open. So I also didn't know what I was going to feel like. Am I going to feel like Easy Rider, Mad Max, Dumb and Dumber? Decided to go. Sorry, Goose, it's time to buzz the tower. So I left. I didn't know how I was going to get there. Originally, I was going to go the northern route through Germany and Poland. Switzerland and the Czech Republic were closed. Germany seemed okay. I was going to go through Poland. Poland had restrictions. I sent a letter with the help of a friend to Border Patrol Police, and they denied my application, so Poland was not possible. Then I was only able to go either south. Austria would let me in if I had a negative COVID test that was less than 3 days old, which means I would have to leave basically the day I received the negative result, so quite difficult. Slovenia would let me through, and that left Hungary. Hungary was quite complicated. I'll explain it later. So that's the way that I went. Took 6 days, went over the French Alps into Italy. Second day, crossed Italy into Venice. Third day, went into Slovenia, crossed Slovenia to almost the border of Hungary. Fourth day, crossed Hungary by auto route. Fifth day, went into Ukraine, crossed most of Ukraine, and then the sixth day, just the last 300 kilometers into Kyiv. I figured I had an 80% chance of making it, 20% chance I would leave to chance and to my charm. First day, great. Went over the border to through the Tunnel of Frejus into Italy. No border control. Strange. Went down, had a pizza outside of Torino, and ended up halfway, kind of a third of the way through Italy, in Casal Monferrato. There I discovered that most hotels were closed, so I had to do a tour of the city. Finally found a hotel that was open. The business hotel was welcomed by the owner of the restaurant next door. They were closed, but they cooked me a super meal. Mountains of pasta and cutlet milanese. I walked in, he said, "Are you the guy on the motorcycle?" Yeah. That was basically the reaction of everyone I met. Who are you? How are you here? How are you moving? Why aren't you in isolation? Second day, going through Italy, it's amazing. I felt blessed. I felt like the roads of Italy were privatized for me. There was nobody on the road. Nobody. So I could go as slow or as fast as I wanted. Just looking at the scenery, practicing safe driving skills. Ended up in Venice as my destination for the second night, and that was amazing. I'd never seen Venice, and then to have the chance to see Venice empty with nobody there, I know that it was very, very unique. I think I would have a hard time going back there with the normal amount of tourists, and I bet the people of Venice are enjoying this time, actually. Again, there was only one hotel open. I stayed there there was 3 other guests. They were journalists for Rai Television, the Italian television station, doing reporting from Venice. The next day, day 3, I was crossing Slovenia, basically. Didn't know anything about Slovenia. Absolutely beautiful country. Perfect for motorcycling. Unfortunately, I went to the wrong Slovenian border. There's only one border that's open, but just made a detour of 100 kilometers. Met some great people in Slovenia. A waitress that served me some goulash. Told her my story. She was in a similar situation. Her boyfriend was in Italy, 100 kilometers away, but unable to visit, unable to cross the border because of the current restrictions. I felt very lucky that I had this piece of paper, we were married, that allowed me to do this. Because she didn't love her boyfriend any less, maybe. Also met a nice guy who recognized Pravda on my license plate, thought I was Russian or something. He directed me to a really nice valley to check out. It was gorgeous on the way. Unfortunately, it sent me down a dirt road. The most dangerous part of the trip, I guess. The scariest part. Going down a mountain on switchbacks on a dirt road in first gear at 10 kilometers an hour. Not really what I wanted to do, but it was an adventure. And of course my camera battery died just before that part, 2 kilometers before, of course. So you just have to trust me. Slovenia was open, but people were very, very, very careful with masks and surgical gloves everywhere. I got a shock again from people wondering where I was coming from. I I found the only hotel open in Ptuj, I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, P-U-T-J, Ptuj, in Slovenia. Stayed at a great place, Panorama Hotel, just on a hill outside of the little village, overlooking the castle. Owner there, he's got a motorcycle, super nice guy, beautiful surroundings. A little bit about my bike, preparations for my bike. Like I said, it's a small bike, 125. It's a Hyosung Bobber 2019. That is 160 kilos dry weight, and it's got 15 horsepower. So I wanted to travel very lightly. I weigh 80 kilos, liquids on the bike probably 10 kilos, and the stuff I put on maybe 20 kilos max. I wanted to make sure that I kept under 300 total kilos, because with 15 horsepower, that's 1 horsepower per 20 kilos, and I wanted to keep on the safe side of that. Don't know if that makes sense. What I did to my bike, basically I put a toolkit on the front to hold my lock and my rain cover and small tools, but I don't know what I'm doing with tools, so I still would need someone to fix my bike if something happened to it. Saddlebags, which look good but don't hold anything. Crash bars, French country identification badge. Pravda sign. I made that. Pravda means true in Ukrainian, my last name. A motorcycle called Truth. USB plug. Bottle holder. And then I traveled with a dry bag and a tank bag. Day 4 is when the dystopian part of the trip started. Hungary. Hungary is complicated. They're closed to transit. I had to contact the US consulate in Budapest, contact the Hungarian National Police and the Ministry of Interior, write an application in Hungarian, which I used Google Translate for. Finally, they granted me a one-day exception from the travel ban and established a humanitarian corridor from border to border with a one-day refugee visa. And I was allowed to only stop at certain gas stations, and there were no hotels, so I had to do this part on the highway. I couldn't go on the national roads, so I was able to test my bike all day at full speed, no problems. I was okay because there was nobody on the road, a little bit boring, straight. Arrived to the Hungarian border. Little problem with the Hungarian exit control. They didn't want me to leave the country, but I used my charm to let me pass, and arrived at the Ukrainian border. It took only about an hour. I'm glad, maybe because there was nobody on the road. I remember seeing Long Way Around by Ewan McGregor. And he waited at this same border basically for 13 hours or something. I guess he didn't have the original documents for the motorcycle. I did. It only took me about an hour or so. I searched my bike a little bit, but these are not the droids you are looking for. Ended up in Ukraine at a ridiculous hotel right at the border, the only place around. Again, I think I was the only guest in the last 2 months there. Very Slavic architectural style, grandiose rooms with carpet on the wall and paintings of nudes above the bed, heavy curtains. And then next day, basically crossing Ukraine, amazing trip. Crossing the Carpathian Mountains, 160 kilometers of just windy mountain roads, nobody on it. One of the highlights of the trip. Just luck with the weather. It was a little chilly, but it was okay. I think I chose the only 5 days in May with no rain. I was lucky with my bike, I was lucky with the weather, I was lucky with people. This transition from 2 months of confinement alone to being riding across Europe was quite a transformation. So I spent people in Ukraine just doing their thing on tractors, working in the fields, standing in the middle of villages. Went, had lunch in Lyon, good lunch. I had good food everywhere actually. Good pizza in Italy, good goulash in Slovenia, Burger King and McDonald's, which I had been missing after months of confinement. I am American, by the way, so that's my excuse. And ended up at the Nirvana Hotel in Rivne, Ukraine. And the next day, I did my last 300 kilometers into Kyiv. Thought about this whole trip. It was a long trip, but dividing it into smaller objectives, smaller goals seemed the best way to deal with a long trip. And I realized that the importance of having a goal in a motorcycle trip like this. Why are you doing it? The answer for me was clear. The goal was to come join my life. Be with him. So I guess I can say that I'm lucky with love as well. Arrived into Kyiv. Last 2 kilometers, I saw the only traffic that I encountered the entire trip. Stopped traffic. Ridiculous. Stopped traffic. Incredible. But I made it. Pulled in. Fell into her arms. The guys at the shooting range next door were happy enough to park my bike in the lobby of their place. Well protected. The next day we went and bought a helmet. Now I got a summer of adventure here in Ukraine. Thanks a lot for watching. And, hope you enjoyed it.